Hi, and welcome to this morning's daily cyber briefing. I had some advice this morning, which was just pretend you enjoy it. So that's what I'm going to do. Yay, Stephen's back next week. Then I can stop pretending. So you'll have your normal daily cyber briefing every morning, every weekday morning with Stephen Ridgway instead, which is awesome. So I'm going to get straight into it. So, a mystery Fortune 50 company paid a record-breaking $75 million ransom payment to the Dark Angels ransomware gang. This is according to Zscaler's Threat Labs, and this ransom was paid in early 2024. There's not been any confirmation of who it is. Till now, the largest known ransom payment was previously $40 million, and that was a insurance company called CNA that paid it. And they suffered a ransomware attack by Evil Corp. So Bleeping Computer have contacted a company called Sensora, who they suspect it may be because the timelines of early 2024 line up, and the information kind of went dark after they got hit with a ransomware attack. There was nobody that came out and claimed that it was them, and it wasn't attributed to anyone, and it just sort of didn't go anywhere. So they suspect, well, they've not said that, but they have reached out to them to see if it's them, and Sensora have not responded. So the Dark Angels group, if anyone doesn't know about them, they employ a highly targeted approach. So typically they will attack single entities that are large, so your large scale enterprises, rather than sort of the common approach of throwing mud at the wall and seeing what sticks. They're basically big game hunters when it comes to ransomware and financial motivation as well. Because of that, they're really good to study. So they're really, if you're a student and you want to study an interesting ransomware gang, have a look at Dark Angels. There's quite a bit of information about them out there that you can find. So they're a good one to study if you're interested in sort of learning more about ransomware operation. And also, we personally, because they're so interesting, the techniques they use are they can be quite predictable, but also they're quite widespread. So they'll cover quite a lot of different things in one attack, very targeted, as I say. I've worked on incidents that have involved Dark Angel, and you can see an element of sophistication there, and you can definitely see that they really go for like a stealthy approach to sort of study who they're attacking before they launch the attack. So it's not like they're throwing Linux exploits at Windows machines or vice versa. It's, they want to understand what tools are being used, and they'll integrate into those tools as well. So it's very, very interesting. We actually base some of our tabletop exercise scenarios on Dark Angel because they're an interesting group and because they do attack larger enterprises. If we get a larger enterprise customer that is looking at tabletop exercises, we tend to guide them towards a ransomware type scenario. And one of the ones we recommend is Dark Angels. So yeah, have a look at that. So the next, I realise as well, I talk quite quickly. So someone's mentioned to me in a DM on LinkedIn that I will start talking about one news story and then just start talking about the other one, and they're like, what the hell is happening? So I'm trying to be a little bit slower this morning. So this has nothing to do with Dark Angels. This is a different story altogether. So Delta Airlines, they lost hundreds of millions of dollars due to the CrowdStrike outage earlier this month. It's estimated to be around 500 million, so $500 million in operational costs directly due to the CrowdStrike outage. They've hired a high-powered law firm to claw some of those funds back, potentially from CrowdStrike or Microsoft themselves. Basically, they're arming themselves to sue. So they are not happy. I'm interested to watch this one and see where it goes. If it goes in Delta's favour, this will open up a can of worms for customers of CrowdStrike suing them. So that'll be interesting to see. I think it's going to, I mean, if it's successful, it'll really change the whole dynamic of, contractual obligations of service providers in cyber, and just how cyber is viewed as an industry. It'll just be interesting to see, won't it? What are your thoughts on the whole thing? I'd be interested in you sticking your comments in when you've listened to this. I know like the CrowdStrike issue has been talked about to death, so I'm not going to keep talking about that, but I think it's good to have a balanced view on any topic. But there were so many people in cybersecurity being like, a bit sort of, a bit nesh about it. They're like, they didn't mean to. It was an accident. Don't be mean to CrowdStrike. Please love me. It's all a bit cringe. And it's just making me like, ugh. And it's a lot of people in cyber. So like you scroll in LinkedIn and that, I'm seeing people in IT or sysadmins or whatever that are just like pissed off and angry, and quite rightly. And, business owners that are angry and senior leaders that are angry. And then you've got people in cyber that are like, don't be mean to CrowdStrike. You're just like, ooh, optics. I don't know. I was going to say I don't know how I feel about that, but I do know how I feel about that. It's fucking cringe. So, next story. So, Meta, the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, agreed to a record-breaking $1.4 billion settlement to the US state of Texas over allegations that it illegally collected biometric data of millions of users without their permission. This is one of the largest penalties ever levied by regulators against a tech giant. So again, really interesting one to read. So this quote from the article says, this historic settlement demonstrates our commitment to standing up to the world's biggest technology companies and holding them accountable for breaking the law and violating Texans' privacy rights. Attorney General Ken Paxton said, any abuse of Texans' sensitive data will be met with, Liza, I do this. I read like a child, like in line, and I don't read the grammar. So I'll start again. Any abuse of Texans' sensitive data will be met with the full force of the law. That is what it needs. That's good. There needs to be consequences. That's brilliant. So I love that. Go Texas. That's good. That's good. I think, as a small business owner, I mean, we're not that small anymore. There's less than 30 of us. So I guess we're still small. You have to, you have to really follow the law. You have to really go in on these things and make sure you're right, because if you're not, there's so much at stake. But for a lot of bigger businesses, they just think not only does it not apply to them, they'll actively go against the law. It's so bizarre. I mean, it's not bizarre, is it? But yeah, it just annoys me. So yeah, good. Go Texas. Okay, last one, and then I can shut up then. Thank God. So a nation-state cyber espionage group linked to India has broadened its targeting beyond regional rivals in Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Nepal, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. So this is a group referred to as Sidewinder. I don't know if it's Sidewinder or Sidewinder. I don't know, because I'm from Yorkshire. If I hear winder, I think of a house window. But anyway, or they're also referred to as razor, tiger, and rattlesnake. So yeah. Anyway, they do a lot of spear phishing, and they do targeted documents that look official and targeted to that company and things like that. So apparently they're quite good at spear phishing and phishing campaigns, and that's how they get their initial vector. They've moved away from concentrating on just Asia, more to Europe and Mediterranean, and they are targeting maritime. So this is an interesting one if you are working with the maritime industry, as are we, which is obviously why this piqued my interest. So it has said in this article that the maritime industry increasingly has become a target of cyber attacks, posing dangers to ships and ports. The current cyber attacks are, in many cases, using older vulnerabilities, such as a flaw in Microsoft Office dating back to 2017. The vulnerability CVE 2017-0199 allows remote code execution against all versions of Microsoft Office and Windows. So this group, I'll just say Sidewinder, are sort of redirecting, they're pivoting, they're rebranding, and they're coming more towards Europe and the Med, and they are targeting the maritime industry. We work in the maritime environments for a number of security services, and if you're interested in exploring ways to test and defend maritime environments, give us a shout. We're pretty good at it. So yeah, interesting. So thank you for listening to this podcast, and have a nice day. I don't know why I'm so awkward. I'm charming in real life, absolutely adorable, and then on the internet I'm just like, oh, what is a Wednesday? I don't know. Have a nice day, guys. Bye.